It's great to have you with us here at Nutanix 2025. Thanks for joining us.
No, thanks, Thomas. Thanks for having us. This is Omnissa's first time in .next, and beautiful city. I love Washington, D.C., but more importantly, the warmth and hospitality from the Nutanix leadership, including you, has just been phenomenal. So we feel a lot welcome here, and like we've discussed, hopefully this is like the first of many more instances where we get to talk to each other. And
I'm betting on it. I think this is our first announcement. Again, we had lots of big announcements at .next this year. Omnissa was a big one for us, right? Yep. Your support of HV and the way you deliver it. But I'm expecting that we'll do a lot more integration going forward. So yeah, first of many. Tell us more about how we're starting together here.
No, like you said, yesterday was a big day. We unveiled our support for Horizon on Omnissa Horizon on AHV. And this is a pretty big announcement for many reasons, right? First of all, it's anchored on our common view of providing flexibility and choice to our customers, especially wherever they want to run their workloads, private cloud and public cloud. And post that, boy, the traffic in the booth has been off the charts. I've had multiple customer conversations who have been super interested, many partners who have been working with us, and they were always wondering, are these two companies going to work together? Now that's happened too. So across the board, it's been exciting, and again, cannot wait to see this go forward in many angles.
I mean, I know you're right? Right now we're in the expo hall, and it's packed, super busy, loud, right? Hopefully we can hear each other and you can hear us.
Yeah.
But the energy that we've had at this conference is just mind-boggling, right? The best that we've ever had, massive amount of partners. And again, like you said, we've had a platform strategy for many years. It's coming together. Bringing applications on top of Nutanix is a key part of this motion. And when we look at the changes in the ecosystem, there's disruption, there's opportunities. Customers have been asking for us to work together for many years, and being able to now deliver on it is just fantastic.
Absolutely.
You mentioned hybrid and hybrid cloud. So when you look at Nutanix and what we can do there, what are your key thoughts in terms of use cases we could enable between Omnissa and Nutanix?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, we're starting off with a beta of Omnissa Horizon on Nutanix AHV for the core desktop virtualization use cases, right? So that's going to be the first point. And then later this year, in summer, we're going to take that to limited availability and then general availability going forward. But the beauty is that it's not just about desktop and app virtualization. That's just the one part of the story. If you look at the Omnissa portfolio, we have app volumes as a technology for dynamic app delivery. A lot of customers are struggling with application lifecycle management.
Right.
So we can bring that. And that has a lot of implications on storage. And we need support from Nutanix to enable kind of a highly flexible storage to support app volumes. Second, we have endpoint management. Okay, it's not just about delivering the desktops. You need to manage the right security policies. So Workspace ONE endpoint management helps you there. And then last but not least, one of the areas that's growing in popularity is what we call digital employee experience. This is about using telemetry from the endpoint and machine learning and AI and all of that good stuff to take a proactive approach to support. But guess what? When you're running VDI and DAS workloads, you can't just do with the telemetry from the endpoint. Yeah. You need observability on the infrastructure layer too.
Of course.
Nutanix complements us really well on that. And so there's a whole spectrum of EUC solutions that this joint partnership can enable.
Yeah, I know we were discussing this yesterday, right? By the way, we're just out of our day 2 keynote where we're doing demos of how we could run Omnissa on Nutanix Cloud Platform, on premises, and complementing it with clusters running natively in Google, in AWS, or in Azure, and doing desktop DR, and burst use cases. So all of this will work out of the box. That's the beauty of our infrastructure and our combination of Omnissa and Nutanix. But you're right, like combining the power of our data solutions, right, to complement your offerings is really the next step for us.
Absolutely. No, the hybrid DR use case you talk about is extremely common because people want the control. Private cloud gives you the control. The public cloud gives you some flexibility of burst and capacity. Now, these solutions are unique in bringing both to bear, so to speak, right? And I think at a higher level, the partnership is also critical because when you do these kinds of partnerships, customer demand. The first aspect of a successful partnership is there is strong customer demand, which we are seeing in plenty. we can check that box for sure, right? The second is what we talked about, the technology complementarity. We do a lot of stuff on the end user side, you do a lot of stuff on the infrastructure side. These two blend well to deliver these joint solutions. And then the third area I think about is the long-term vision we both have. We both want to provide modernized solutions and infrastructure. I mean, just look at your kind of tagline, right?
That's right, run anything anywhere. Right?
Run anything anywhere, and what we talk about is any device, any app from anywhere. So our taglines match well too. And then if you think about our long-term vision of an autonomous workspace, we define it as something that's self-configuring, self-healing, and self-securing. I would think exactly the kind of constructs you want to bring at the infrastructure tier. So I think these two blend well, really do together. Right?
No, that's actually great. I mean, there's a lot of disruption going on right now in our ecosystems. You know, on our side for infrastructure, we always had to go deal with the fact that there's on-premises, there's edge use cases, there's cloud native now, a new platform. So lots of things that we have to go deal with on the technology side, then also on the competitive side.
Yep.
You know, with the refactoring of companies. You know, one thing that we talk about at Nutanix is being able to go and run any application consistently anywhere, right? And we use our cloud cluster solution for that, right? We basically have our offering that's running on premises, and then you can go and take the same software stack, the same infrastructure stack, and deploy it in AWS, in Azure, in Google, managed the exact same way. We stretch networking to make it even easier to go and move some workloads, not all of them, and still have them basically work together. So that's a big enablement solution. You know, what does it mean for you at Omnissa in terms of enabling those type of use cases, running on-prem, running in cloud, combining the two?
No, that we share that vision, right, in terms of giving the choice and flexibility. And so for instance, Horizon 8, which complements the AHV hypervisor, of course it can run on private cloud, on Nutanix clusters on premises. If the Nutanix cluster happens to be, let's say, on AWS or Azure or Google for that matter, Horizon 8 can be deployed in all of those clouds as well. So it gives you that flexibility at the infrastructure tier that Nutanix enables, and then at the desktop tier. And we have brokering logic that can determine, hey, based on cost, based on performance, based on availability,
you can optimize what you actually train on.
You can just place the workload wherever you want. So you have complete freedom at both tiers.
And this is something, I mean, we see this demand from all customers right now. Everybody's talking about hybrid, right? So you have to have this pretty much by default. And what's really nice about our first foray into the integration is this is all there by default.
Absolutely, and this is going to be one of the most popular use cases. We're already hearing it, like you said, from a lot of our customers. So it's going to be great. So
no, awesome. Look, you know, so we're talking earlier in terms of how you think about making things simpler, right? How you basically automate as much as you can, simplify the lifecycle management of applications for your customers. And I just couldn't help but just think this is exactly what we do for infrastructure.
Yep.
You know, what we're known for is automation, simplifying, just allowing customers to go run with one click, right? One click is what people know about Nutanix. One click and you upgrade, you know, one click and you expand. So that combination of doing it at the infrastructure layer and doing it at the application and your desktop layer is just a nice way to actually combine all this together and again, simplify complex infrastructure environments.
Absolutely. I think that the notion of an easy button, everybody wants an easy button, right? Like whether it's desktop provisioning or infrastructure provisioning. Yeah, and then we can enable that. So right now the workflow starts and say, hey, a new employee joins, I need to provision a virtual desktop for them. Boom, here is the basic profile I want to put them on. Then beyond that, all the way from the desktop tier, all the way leading to the Nutanix infrastructure tier, the whole thing works in an automated provisioning fashion. And so you get the benefits of scale and speed and agility.
So I have a question for you around AI. You know, we talked about AI earlier, and I'd like to go beyond just AI is going to change things, right? So we announced our NAI product, version 2.0, right, which is basically allowing you now to go and deploy more than just LLMs, but actually automate how you deploy the entire agentic infrastructure for agentic application. So we got this in infrastructure. You know, AI is also changing how we think about the end user experience.
Yep.
And I'm just curious to get your thoughts in terms of what it means for Omnissa and what infrastructure providers can do to enable more of those advanced use cases for you.
No, absolutely. I think from our standpoint, right, we've been looking at AI well before the Gen AI hype, right? Like we've been using algorithms and models on a lot of the telemetry we collect. For instance, we do something called guided root cause analysis. So if a problem happens, we're able to take telemetry, run AI models on top of that and determine what the root cause for that is. That's been happening. But now with Gen AI, we now are able to build first a conversational interface on top of the data we collect so that you can ask natural language queries and understand your system better. And second, we're also able to now drive complex workflows through the agentic AI capabilities, right?
Right.
So what we're looking for from infrastructure is that for certain kinds of problems and workflows, you need deep reasoning models. For certain other things, you need speed is more important. So having the ability to flexibly switch LLMs and having that portability, it's almost like you said, workload portability, right? We'll pretty soon need LLM and model portability, and the infrastructure tier is best suited to enable that. So that's what we would be looking for to partner with when it comes to the AI front. But again, early days, but a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the nice thing about the space we're in right now and the time we're in this current market is things are open.
Yep.
In many ways, right? I mean, some of us are in this open space looking to actually partner with the ecosystem. And there's just so many things that you can actually start looking at optimizing.
Absolutely.
Right? It's innovation going in all directions, disruption going in all places, and that's just opportunities for all of us right now. Look, it's great to get started with Omnissa. Thank you for joining our ecosystem. I'm glad we're part of your ecosystem now. Right? Customers have been demanding this for many years. And again, it's just year one.
Absolutely. No, this has been great, and thanks for the hospitality again. I can't wait to get going with some joint customer wins.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.